And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, back for another Tuesday edition of Prop Stars. Got my buddy TJ here. Of course, we got Rob producing over there in the corner, trying to bring himself out. Always cool to see the aerial view there of the guys that are hard work behind the curtain. But TJ, how you feeling, man? We got an exciting day. Obviously, we got a couple of notes on NFL. NFL rules the world. We will be talking some baseball today, a little March Madness, a little NBA talk. But let's lead with the king, as always. The NFL, National Football League, always got something going on, and I'm interested in some of this. I'm curious to talk about it as well. So, what are you hearing out of some of these camps that you were mentioning?
Yeah. Well, actually, first I want to talk about something a little not like just person. Went to the Magic game last night.
Okay.
It was great. We got some tickets through a family friend, and I tell you what, the Magic, the Kia Center, they got it figured out on the location of that arena. The way it is literally propped in the corner of downtown, but it's surrounded. Half of the arena is surrounded by highways, 408 and I-4. And like literally the way you can get in and out of an arena, we left our house at almost 6:30. We were there in the arena, sitting down almost right at tip-off. So, think about that from a neighborhood, that's 25 minutes away. Parking, we parked for $25, which is very fair, right? 5-minute walk, not even that, and probably shorter, but we're walking with kids. And then we're there. And then we're home we stayed to the last play of the game. It was a lot. It came down to the last play of the game. The Magic were down the whole game pretty much. And Banchero drives to the hoop and just kind of jumped up and was fully contested at the hoop. And he didn't get the call. And I don't think he should have got the call, because it looked like there were just a bunch of bodies jumping up. And that's just the way it goes now. You're not getting those calls. And
you can't expect to get the call either, right? You shouldn't be fighting for that call. You should be fighting for the hoop.
And Banchero had a great game. He had a 40-point game. And man, he looks
He's been on a mission, by the way, since the All-Star break.
He looks special out there. There are some we have a friend of the show that I served, and NBA insider, and we won't use any names, but he's not sure if Banchero's a number one. So, a number, what he meant by that was a number one for a dynasty championship run. You know what I mean? But he's definitely a number one when it comes to, regular season, things like that. And he's getting there. He had 39 points. He shot 27 times, but he was 4 for 9 from 3, and he started out real cold. But second, third, and fourth quarter, Banchero was everywhere. There was no Suggs, no Franz, no Anthony Black. I mean, I thought it was crazy.
We're kind of on the mend right now, trying to get healthy. Boys are trying to get healthy.
I thought it was crazy. The Magic were 12.5-point favorites. I thought that was ridiculous. Even though the Patriots are one of the worst teams in the NBA. One game from a championship, now the worst team in the NBA. Now, they could change that pretty quick. Now, I don't think that Halliburton moves the needle that much, but watching them play yesterday, that is not a bad team. I think this is a team that is intentionally tanking somehow, some way. And no Miles Turner, obviously, from last year, no Halliburton, but Naismith just looks so good out there. Nembhard looked good.
Zandy, I disagree with you. I think the Magic are very much contenders, and I think the Magic, when they get Anthony Black, Franz, Suggs, and then you got De Silva and the rest of the people that are all very famous and popular. I don't think that there's really anybody who's got that kind of depth. I mean, other than the top tier teams, you know what I mean? I think they're going to be fighting with the likes of the Knicks, with the Celtics. I think they're going to be right there with the Pistons. I mean, whoever the Magic draw, they're going to give problems. They're not getting swept out by any means by any team.
Yeah,
especially when they're healthy. If they're healthy, if we can get everybody back that's supposed to be back.
Now, yeah, Zandy, are you a California? Are you California? Or are you on this side now? The Magic haven't done anything to make anyone think that they're serious contenders. I agree. Hardcore Magic fans say it's impossible to assume health because we have not even gotten it with this team. No, they're not beating those teams this year. I agree. But if you tell me next year, a healthy team, Anthony Black, Bane, Jersey, okay. Bane, okay, Anthony Black, Bane, Suggs. Those are the three, smaller court, whatever, smaller front back court. And then Franz and Bencaro. That starting five to fit that I'm not gonna say starting five, that finishing five, because that probably wouldn't be starting. Anthony Black would still be a six man, I think. But that finishing five to come off the bench, that would be tough to stop if they could play with each other. Bane is a beast. The guy is so special. Watching him play yesterday, just something real special about that guy.
He fits really well with our system. I think he really loves playing in Orlando. He was our big acquisition. I think he's definitely living up to the billing. I think Bane is a piece that helps get Orlando to that next level and take some of the pressure off of Paolo and Franz, because you felt like it was just Paolo and Franz. And how are they going to be able to balance it out? Is it going to look something like a Tatum, Brown, whatever? I think that when you put Bane in there, he takes and alleviates the spacing in the floor, gets both of them their open shot. And then you start getting, like you said, you got Suggs running around harassing everybody. You get Anthony Black, you got Wendell Carter down low, and then you get De Silva lighting it up from the corner. I think the talent is there. The chemistry is starting to grow. Sure, maybe they don't beat the list of teams that you put up there with the Celtics, right? The Celtics look incredible. The Pistons are the ones trying to hold on. I don't know if OKC can beat the Spurs. Spurs seem to kind of have their number, at least in the regular season. We'll see what that looks like come, with all the half-court sets and playoff basketball.
Yeah.
But I do like them being a contender this year. And I do
don't
like
know
them
if Bane
being
likes
worthy to
Bane
upset this year. I think they could beat any of those teams.
Yeah, they mortgaged the future for Bane. And I don't know if he's happy. He looks like he likes it because right now he's having a lot of freedom. And he didn't have a great game yesterday. He missed a crazy layup too, where he did everything amazing and he gets to the hoop and he had to kind of spin it the way he was going on. Now we're not talking about if the Magic are contenders or not. We're really just, since I was at the game, I just brought it up, but watching Bencaro move, watching this team, that finishing five is so good with Tristan Da Silva. They have a little bit of depth. This team next year could easily be a 50-win team, a top three. But, yeah, you got to beat them to join them. Obviously, I think the Pistons are going to be done if Cade Cunningham doesn't come back.
If Cade's out, yeah, they're cooked.
And, the East all of a sudden got real strong because the Knicks went on that run where they spanked the Spurs. They had OKC on the ropes and lost. Then they beat Denver, a healthy Denver team, by 40, right? So the East, but it's close. It's real close. We talked about it on the last show, I think, how great the NBA is right now. There's literally 10 teams that I would not be surprised. If Detroit's healthy, we got that. Boston, Knicks. We missing somebody there? Detroit. And then the West. In the West, it's OKC, the Spurs,
right,
the Lakers. Minnesota's always up there.
Then Denver.
Denver Nuggets, obviously. So yeah, it's a fun conversation to have. I think that it's really truly wide open, but Orlando's got it figured out when it comes to traffic and all that. I'll tell you that. You get in and out of there real quick. Bencaro got so hot late and then just jumped up. Man, I'd say this. It's the NBA, it's just hard, man. It's hard. And it's hard to be just automatically known as just a finisher. Siakam and Bencaro were literally battling one-on-one. They both had 40, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Or really close to 40. Siakam had 37. Yeah, and Bencaro had 39. It was just cool watching them go to battle. But the NBA, they're so long. They're so fast. Every time you see a pump fake, Tristan Da Silva would pump fake, the guy would blow by. By the time he was putting the ball in the court, somebody's right there. You know what I mean? And then you're swinging it, but passes are getting tipped. It's just crazy to watch NBA in person. It's really fun. And you just really respect the speed and all that stuff.
Yeah, man,
I'm
Magic
not
got a
mad.
good thing going on. We're sure hoping that the boys continue to grow. You know what I mean? That's what we're hoping for here locally. And it's not just that, but as they do continue to grow, it makes every other game that comes into town worth a little bit more. The town's got a little more jazz. There's a little more energy in Orlando. When Orlando is in the playoffs, there's a buzz around this city. It's definitely always back to Magic from back in the 95 run all the way through the heart and hustle teams. Like Orlando's always been there for their team, bro. And we're just happy to see a good product that's growing. And we just hope that we don't end up trading everybody away
I
as
mean,
the Magic season
Anthony Black will be healthy from this injury. If Franz is back, that's gonna be that. There's no, but I'll tell you this: Orlando will win 2 games in any playoff series they play.
100%.
I'll put money on that. If those 5 guys are there, the Magic will win 2 games in any series, which that means they're at least going to game 6 in every series. So I'll say that. If so, I mean, you're just watching them yesterday, and it's against the Pacers, but still, you're just watching them. You're like, man, like they don't have. You could arguably say that Banchero and Bane might be their 2 best players. I mean, Franz is that good, but it could be Banchero, Bane, Franz in that order. But just watching them with no Franz, no Suggs, and no Anthony Black is kind of just.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, man. We need Suggs back. He's that tenacious defender. If you got, do you think Suggs' offense, just before we stop talking about the Magic, do you think Suggs' offensive prowess is a issue because he's so inconsistent?
No, yeah, he's not a great. He's like a Marcus Smart, but better. But he's just one of those guys that he's not the most amazing. Oh, and
But he's
Zandy,
so athletic, right? The
Zandy,
guy
we'll get
just
to
does
those.
so much.
We'll get those baseball notes. Yeah, he's got the best hand-eye coordination. Maybe in the NBA, like literally number 1. The guy is so gifted and he's so physically aggressive for his size, and he's just really inconsistent from 3. I'm gonna pull up his 3-point percentage really quick, but he's really fun to watch. And yeah, that's why they. I mean, he was a top 5 pick. He was kind of picked as a Jalen Brunson. Like that's what they thought he was going to be, kind of. I truly think that, and he just wasn't. He wasn't there,
Yeah, I mean Jalen Brunson's game coming out of college too. He was already known to have touch and to be a shooter. Like Suggs has never been known to have that kind of offensive experience. Yeah, whenever Suggs runs hot, it's the Magic go. All right, yeah, I see you over there talking baseball about my Braves, man. All right, do you want to get into baseball or do you want to talk NFL?
Yeah, let's just get right into baseball. Screw it.
All right, man. All right. So, yes, the Braves did announce that Spencer Strider, amazing former all-star pitcher, been battling some injuries. He's a little guy, but throws complete gasoline. Yeah, he's got an oblique thing going on. He was pitching really good through spring. His numbers still look good. It was like 8 innings, a few runs, lots of strikeouts. They said his velocity is a little bit down. That's what oblique things do. He'll be back in a couple weeks. The league I got Strider in, I'm in 3 baseball leagues. The league I got Strider in is a keeper league. I kept him. It's a 10-man keeper, and it's only like an 8-man league, so it's not even that big of a deal. My pitchers are absolutely ridiculous in that league, so I'm not even worried. Real life contemplation, yeah, it sucks because we already lost Schwellenbach, we already lost Waldrop, and now this is Strider. Obviously, we're relying on Sale and a few other dudes that are going to get us through on the early onset of the season. But our offense has been looking good.
Yeah, I think the MLB right now, it is straight up. We'll be talking about this in October. We are looking at a collision course between the Yankees and the Dodgers. I mean,
you're talking about it right now. Let's just put cards on the table, right? Go ahead. Yankees, Dodgers, nobody's stopping them.
Yeah, I think Yankees, Dodgers, it's a one-way collision course. It's going to be something along the lines of, I think both teams win 100 games. I think both teams have the pitching. And I think a lot of teams, if the Dodgers and the Yankees don't win 100 games, it's because they take the Dodgers blueprint from last year and they just literally all they care about is getting their starting rotation ready for the postseason. The Dodgers did that last year with Blake Snell and a couple other guys. They scaled back innings
So
and
you
all this
don't so
crazy
you
stuff
don't
on
think the Dodgers
Gascon.
win 125 games. You got the Dodgers at like 105 games and they'll be healthy for the postseason.
Yeah, because they're not gonna be pitching like I can see them with Yamamoto and all the boys and Blake's. They're just gonna scale them back a little bit.
Ease everyone at one start a week, nice and easy. Shohei gets a start, Snell, Yamamoto, everyone just once a week, 6 starters, right? Just let it be easy.
Yeah. Now the Yankees, I mean, we have some boys coming through on spring training with
When does
Spencer
Cole come back?
Lombardo. We got the Martian who's gonna be ready. And now, I do think that we're putting a lot of pressure on Schittler to be that guy. Garrett Cole's gonna start out on the IL.
When does he come back?
I think it's gonna be like a month or two,
Okay.
But let me see what's Danny saying. Okay, yeah, when healthy. Okay, but yeah, I'm assuming Zanny might be a Yankee fan too. We'll see. I'm interested. I'm interested what Zanny has to say, but I think that it's a one-way collision course. Yankees, Dodgers. We'll see it in the postseason, and that will be one of the most watched. There's going to be so much pressure on that series because if the Yankees can beat them, the evil empire, the Yankees are no longer the evil empire. And literally the Dodgers are going to be causing an MLB strike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the Dodgers win, the strike is going to happen for sure because they manipulated the system. And now, you're paying guys like Kyle Tucker, who hits 25 home runs a season, $60 million a year on a, back-ended contract. Then you have Ohtani back-ended contract. Then you have Hall of Famers like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman that can still wail at it.
And they still got the best catcher in the game that nobody talks about. And Will Smith has won the World Series how many years in a row? I mean, like you could just keep going. Teoscar Hernandez, they got Pages, like they got dudes that are just going to continue to show up and blow up, man. And that team's
They're
not
top to
stopping
bottom so good. And the Yankees, I mean, Freddie Freeman hit that grand slam in game 1. That changed the whole series. And then Judge had that crazy error, and then the Yankees fell apart. But that series wasn't as much of a blowout as what it seemed. You know what I mean? And obviously the Blue Jays the next year took them to game 7. But everyone's hunting for the Dodgers. And I'm telling you, as a red-blooded American who loves this country more than anything, I was rooting for the Blue Jays last year.
Yeah.
Like
I think we all were. I can't believe they were literally this close away on the plate.
I was rooting for Canada, and I was rooting for Canada. That was it. I was rooting for Toronto. I hate the way the Dodgers have done it. I've never really been a fan of that in my personal life. I just hate one-sided teams.
Do you think Shohei was definitely gambling? Obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you just blame it on your buddy who can't speak English and you just roll on. I mean, like they've been shrouding and protecting. He's the face of baseball. They got him rings already. What's going on with the Dodgers is kind of crazy. They're like having their cake and eating it too. Like, they're doing everything. They're getting it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say this, that I think that if Ohtani was gambling, I think that Adam Silver, Goodell would also get involved with Manfred. I'm not saying those names wrong. That 3 of the people that run all
commissioners,
3 big leagues,
3 commissioners of the sport
they
world
came together for dinner and they said, if this gets out, if our biggest stars are, because now the little guys are getting caught gambling.
Shohei's not even just the face of baseball. He's like the face of sports right now, right? Like,
yeah, he's the face of sports. So I think that if he was gambling, it'd be an easy conspiracy just to cover up because you'd be killing people to suppress that information. So if he was gambling out, who knows? But I do think that the strongest people on the planet would make sure that information never gets out. They pull him aside and say, don't do it again.
100% right. Out of the so you're saying it's a collision course between these two teams. Do you think anybody gives the Dodgers a run? I mean, the Padres, you think you got the Mets? Do you like any pitching staffs out of the NL to give them any issues? Obviously, they play against the Giants and the Padres. The Mets, the Braves, I like.
I
Zay's over
mean,
here giving the when healthy, so I won't even say
yeah,
when
I
healthy.
feel like
I still love our offense, and I think Acuna's MVP this year.
I feel like the AL, like the Yankees will have more problems than the Dodgers. And this is just
I
you
think
just don't
Boston's
know
coming
how
up. Obviously, you got Toronto. There's the Mariners probably got the best rotation in all of
Seattle's
baseball.
real good this year.
They're so
Seattle's
good.
real good. You just feel like, it's so hard to say so early on, but I think we're on a one-way collision course. You want to talk fantasy baseball?
Yeah, we got our last draft. Baseball opening day is tomorrow. We got a draft tomorrow at noon. I will be drafting on the golf course, so that's gonna be a good time. That's gonna
That's
be
exciting.
guaranteed fun.
What do you think? You think Ohtani should be one or Judge should be one?
Well, the style league play that we have is a category league, and I feel that Otani gives you the two-way. So I think in cats that you got to give it to Otani.
I remember I've been Ohtani owners for 2 years though. 1 year he wasn't two-way. I prefer him being one-way as an owner.
Sure. That's a fun thing.
I just didn't like, first of all, he stopped stealing bases when he pitched. Like literally.
Yeah, but aren't these concerns more like they were just mitigating because of injury concerns, and now they're gonna like free him up? That's what I'm hearing. He's gonna run, right?
We'll see, but like if you're the Dodgers, are you ever like, hey, we're going to the playoffs. I don't want you getting hurt stealing bases. Like, is that a real thing? Like, I don't think Ohtani steals 20 bases this year.
Okay. So you're talking you like him one way as a pitcher or a batter? What way are you if you're starting
batter.
Ohtani, you want to
batter.
start
I just
Ohtani as a
like
batter?
when he pitches, he doesn't bat, or you can't. No, sorry, when he pitches,
he only goes 5 innings, right?
Yeah, you can't.
And then he comes out after that, and you can't even start him as a bat because you got to start him as a front-end pitcher. So this is where we're talking. This is like the rubber meeting the road. Now you did win with him last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I won the league, and I do.
You beat me. I did take second place.
Yeah, it was one of those things where
I wasn't
always be annoyed when he was. It always felt like I needed something more from his bat and his pitching. You just never knew. Most of the time, you just felt like it was going to be a 3 or 4 inning thing.
So if you had the choice to take Ohtani or Judge, would you take Judge over Ohtani again?
I think Judge. I would go Judge this year. I think Judge makes a run for 70, and I think that Ohtani, they're just going to keep that bubble wrap on him when it comes to pitching. So you're really not getting him as a full pitcher. And
I feel until they unleash Ohtani, I had him 1 year a few years ago. In the year I even traded him, and I had a lot of the remorse that you're talking about right now. It's kind of hard to peg exactly what he's going to do. And I even had him when he was running, right? And they said that, oh, he should be able to run more this year. I would rather not have to make my bed and decide what way I'm going to aim whenever I'm looking at his date on his weekly starts. I would take a Judge or Soto over Ohtani. I think that he shows a little more value metrics wise. If you're really just going to play Billy B in analytics and get into the baseball side of things, I think that he does present a higher ceiling because he has this untapped potential still that we haven't seen him go full bore pitcher and batting and go and hit 65 home runs and win 20 games, whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's like this, people talk about the enamoring ceiling that nobody's seen yet of Ohtani. Just give me something consistent, man. I just want a guy who's going to show up like Juan Soto. You can't get the guy out. Guy hits everything, puts his bat on the ball. He chokes up whenever he's got 2 strikes. Like I want a guy who's going to be consistently moving categories. And you're talking like we play in a 12-cat league. So you need a dude who's going to move 6 categories. You know what I mean? That's where it is a little bit difficult. Ohtani could potentially be moving 11 categories for you, which is kind of crazy to think about because you're saying he's not going to get steals. But I would still
Ohtani or Judge.
I would say I would go Judge. I'm done with Ohtani. I would go Judge or Soto. I even say I would go Soto over Ohtani because I don't want to deal with the unknown of it. And not just that, but as the Dodgers continue to build this depth, it just takes away the shine out of everybody else. It's like in a fantasy football team, when you got too many guys getting the ball, you don't know exactly who's going to be the one producing at your workhorse level. So you can't even guarantee he's going to be a top producing tier.
Yeah, but like MLB is different than basketball, right? Because there's only 100.
100%. Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying they have so many dudes. I know Otani's going to be getting numbers, and you got Kyle Tucker hitting behind this and that. But there's just going to be games. We know baseball is also about load management. If they want to give them an extra couple days off, they got so many guys and there's so many wins. You're just going to lose, especially at the end of the year when it comes down in fantasy baseball. Like, you need guys to be out there healthy. God forbid Otani gets any kind of dinged up. They're going to be so cautious because they know they're playing for the ring. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what you have to think about with these type of players. When you have such a good guy, are they going to shut him down? This is a bugaboo of fantasy. And we're not just talking in real life. We already talked about collision course. Okay. In fantasy, you have to be lucky. Better to be lucky than good when it comes to guessing and wondering about who's going to be healthy at the end of the year. Is the team going to be shutting players down because they have too many wins? Or if he's dinged up, do they even need him? You know, so just an added angle of the way I think about things whenever it comes to an Otani type player.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you like Bobby Witt over a Juan Soto or over an Otani or anything like that in our category league? I mean, he's ranked. I'm looking at our top players, and Witt's going over him. So is Vlad. So is Acuna. And this is just, I guess, looking at batters. It's not going to be like overall. Otani's still going to be ranked overall. But I think you can make a case if you are going to be worried about not starting him and you're just going to like sacrifice. You're going to take the bat because you know he's only going 4 2/3 if he gets in any trouble or whatever. But you still get Otani, who you know can come out and hit 2 homers in the back end of the game. Like, I think that maybe a Bobby Witt is a little more valuable than him as well. I would like Bobby Witt over him.
Yeah, I'd have to look at. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find the odds to win the MLB odds to win World Series. I just have always
futures bet. You want to put the futures bet in? Just bet for it
I'm
right
just
now.
curious to see like if I'm like that far off. So yeah, the Dodgers are plus 210, and then the Yankees are plus 1,000.
So what's the matchup if you get them together? Can't you sit there and get the future matchup?
Yeah, it's not like really let me do it, but yeah, like just the Dodgers are plus 200 right now actually to win it. Yankees are plus 1,000, so $100. Now this is to win the World Series, but and then it goes Dodgers, Yankees, Mariners, Mets, Phillies, Red Sox. But you know, most sports books agree that Yankees and Dodgers are favorites. You know.
Yeah.
Now to your question with Bobby Witt, I have to look at his stats, but I always lean more towards power in fantasy. You know, I feel like I could always get lucky with average, but I just always lean towards power. So I would have Soto over. And if I remember correctly, Witt's stats weren't like amazing last year, right? Like,
bro, I think Bobby Witt is probably like, I think he might be. He's a definite. He's not just a top 3 player. I think he could be like the ceiling is. He could be one. He could be number 1.
really? First of all,
he's
I don't like
growing
the
too.
park he play. I don't like the park he plays in. I feel like it's just not a hitter friendly park. I don't like the lineup that surrounds him. Right? He had 23 home runs, which tied for 62nd. He had
Right.
88
I think his power
RBIs.
numbers increase.
Yeah. Now I want to see how many games he played. Did he play? Yeah, he played a full season last year.
He's
And
durable.
like he only hit 23 home runs. He didn't even get 100 RBIs. He's like really not. OPS is 852. His batting average is 295. I mean,
if you look at him, I think if I'm hearing it correctly, it sounds like an early Juan Soto stat line before Juan Soto continued to grow into this player.
No,
that he
I
is
was
now.
hard on Soto, and
I think that Bobby Witt is on the same trajectory. I think that these are prospects that produced as soon as they came up. We watched him produce at every level of A ball. And then as soon as he came out, he was able to produce at the big league level. You're right. His team is not sexy. but he's a stat machine. And we're talking about, I'm not talking about real life. We're talking about in our fantasy league, the way we play. He is just one of the absolute metric movers. He moves all 6 categories. And I think that he's growing into his ceiling is what I'm saying. I think he's going to continue to get better. I think you're going to see his powers. I can see Bobby Witt hitting 35 home runs. You know what I mean? Like 35 I could see him in that 35 to 40 bubble.
Yeah, that'd be a big jump, but I mean, I wouldn't be
I
shocked.
could see him definitely stealing 60 plus bags. You know what I mean? Like I could see him hitting for 300. I could see him getting to the 100 RBI mark. Like I think
But
he's
it's
going to
just
have
so
very gaudy
important.
numbers.
It's so important, like with Judge and Soto and Ohtani. It's so important to be surrounded with bats.
Sure, their lineups are just so depth.
And Witt's not surrounded. It's why, like, I don't love Jose Ramirez, even though I
Who
love
is
him
like
as a
just the
player.
most solid producer.
Oh yeah, Ramirez
Every
has been a
single year, the
first-round pick.
guy is a cornerstone, steals bags. I think he's 31 this year, and he's not showing any signs of decline.
No, he's
Like
been
at all.
he's been a first-round pick for 10 years in fantasy. And I just think that I should say I love Jose. I mean, I love everything about Jose Ramirez. But when I'm always like on that brink of who I should get, I'm just like, man, Ramirez can get a double in the in the first inning, and nobody's gonna knock him in. And that double didn't get him an RBI either. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, I know
They don't have that
Kwan's good.
sexy offense around him. Totally.
Yeah,
get it.
there's just and I feel like Witt's the same way where you have like Ohtani, Soto. We're talking about other cornerstones of franchises, and also we're talking about first-round fantasy draft picks. I just always seem to never get Witt or Ramirez because, they just don't get a lot of the pitching. They're just so focused around pitching around those guys because they're not scared of who's around them.
I would debate between Witt and the top players depending on the draft position that we got. I would take Judge, yes. I guess it would be a problem if you're looking at. I mean, I would still take Ohtani over him. God, man, that Dodgers lineup is just so potent. How can
And
you
it's
not
not
take him? And that's
fair.
what you're
It's
talking
not
about.
Yeah, it's not fair to judge people. Like, you can't judge. I'm sorry. It's fair to judge as we do, but it's not fair to judge like Witt versus Soto because those are 2 different positions. Like, it's very easy to find an outfielder that can hit 25, 30 home runs. We can do that very easily. It's
The
very
second
hard.
second baseman, there's not a lot of second basemen out there. It's a very
not
short
a lot
team.
of second basemen, not a lot of shortstops. That can easily that produce the numbers that Witt does. That's why Witt's so valuable, right? It's like when everyone used to go Travis Kelce in the first round, right? You go Kelce because the drop off at tight end is so steep that if Kelce gets you 15 points a game, you're literally going against guys that sometimes don't even get a point from a tight end.
Yeah, bro. And you're talking about second baseman. You're talking like Bobby Witt, Jazz Chisholm. You know what I mean? Those are like pretty much like they were your top dudes last year in fantasy production. Those are going to be guys like Witt's obviously rated higher than Jazz, and I know that that's just something that he's got to get figured out. His consistency, but with the Yankees lineup, it's like you said, it's so potent. His numbers went up, and he also had a great year as well.
I think Acuna has a big year, right?
I think he goes berserk. I already told you he's my pick for MVP, NL. I think he goes bonkers. He's got the lineup around him. I think they're built. I think the Braves are going to be making. I've been watching them all spring. I never try to put too much stock in the spring, but our offense looks nasty, bro. We look really good. We're putting up runs. We're hitting. We're scoring. We got everybody around us. I think we even got Yastrzemski in our team now. He's like fit in real nice. Our catcher Drake Baldwin. He's been just growing. He was one of the rookie of the year. Yada yada. So yeah, we got some guys. Ozzie Albies is going to be healthy this year. Austin Riley has said that he's been working with a bags coach. He's going to actually have some legs, as well as his batting will be back to par. You got Olsen, who's going to be looking. I think we're going to be making noise, man. The division is not just the Phillies or the Mets. I think the Braves are going to be right there. It's just our pitching. We're like already got this bug going on in our arms early on. This injury thing.
What happened with Strider?
Oblique injury. He was like managing it. He's got an oblique thing. He's going to start the year on the IL.
Because I was really curious to see, because like he looked horrible last year, obviously. and people were still just like, nope, this is just par for the course.
Yeah. Oh,
That
he was going to be fine. Absolutely.
it takes 2 years, but like I worry with guys like him because he's like such a small frame,
Sure.
I mean, he's got big legs and stuff, but he's a small guy,
Yeah.
right? He's not a big guy.
Nope.
And it was just always weird to see Strider like getting fucking crushed last year. Like could barely get out of the first inning sometimes. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But everyone's just like, nope, this is what we expected, and it takes 2 years to recover from this injury, and he'll be back. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I was really hoping to see that this year, but obviously,
And that's what I
starting
was
out on
saying.
the
He
IL,
looked good in spring already. He looked great. I mean, he had already thrown 8 innings, like had 3 earned runs, whatever. But his strikeouts were there. They just said his velocity was a little down because of the oblique, and they're trying to make sure that he comes back 100%. Give him some time. If you're not throwing 97, sliders, then you don't have your stuff. You know what I mean? You need that to sit there and get these people out.
yep. So yeah, the first round. So it goes Otani or Judge either way. And then in your league, which is a very high respected league, categories, very important to point that out. You know what I've realized, or not categories, points. This is a league that we're talking about is points. You know what the one thing I noticed, like, the biggest difference between points and categories is strikeouts for batters, right? Because most points leagues, it's -1 for a strikeout, where in categories, strikeouts don't really mean that. Don't
It's
hurt
your
you that
average. Yeah, it's just an
much. Yeah.
average.
But like it doesn't even hurt your, I mean, like a deep fly ball and a strikeout is still an out. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So like it doesn't hurt you as much. So like a guy like me, like I'm real high on what's the kid's name? Oh my god, Colston Montgomery. I think I'm saying that right, or is it?
Yeah. Exactly right.
I don't understand why this guy isn't going like 5th or 6th round. I'm like still kind of confused on it. He had 21 home runs in 70 games last year.
Okay.
Now, you could say, oh, he caught the league off guard. They're going to learn how to pitch to him. Or you could say, oh, he was just getting warmed up. He's ready to go. He's going to hit 50. I mean, 21 home runs on 70 games is 45 or 50 home runs in a regular season, right? Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that, but I'm looking at his projections. He's projected to hit 25 home runs this year. I'm like,
I mean, you're going to find a lot of guys that are going to be 15 to 25ers that are going to be on the bottom half of the draft, man, like 100%. And I think a lot of it's what you just talked about. You're talking about a White Sox, a guy who is not, he's not on a prolific team. He's not some prolific hitter. You know what I mean? He's coming up, and he doesn't have this whole lineup around him. You're hoping for a healthy Luis Roberts and everyone else, right? If he's still on the team, you're just looking at him like it's not a lineup around him. So how can you invest too high of a pick and to a guy like? There's a lot of shortstops. Like, all right, I'll take Connor Griffin. I'll take Connor Griffin over him, and they're probably going around the same. Connor Griffin should be going higher. He's like the ultimate top prospect who's coming out. But like when you're talking shortstops, like I think the best value shortstop that's out there is grabbing Pena from Houston. The guy's still a little day to day. He's going to have like the best overall stat line for you, and you're going to get him at the best value for where everyone's going to be picking shortstops because the shortstops are kind of top heavy too. Colston Montgomery's a great value pick to come in and sweep it up if you don't like a Willie Adames. You know what I mean? Who's going to strike out just as much. He's got just a higher strikeout rate, probably more. And he doesn't have the kind of speed, but this guy's not stealing a lot of bags either. So I don't know. Is he a poor man's Willie Adames?
When he got drafted, I'm trying to see it. I had Sean send me the draft, but I don't even see he got drafted. I'm trying to.
I mean, I just look at he's 17.8% owned. I see you. Happy anniversary, Gino. I just see he's 17.8% owned. So, I mean, no matter what across the board, 1 out of 5 people in every single league in the world has him. You know what I mean? Ish. So, I mean, he's on the Mets now. So you can't even say that you're putting him on a lineup that's going to have too much pop around him. And I know the White Sox got some bats.
Yeah, but happy anniversary, Gino. I don't. I just but
He's
just
but he's a
check
great
that out,
value pick
though.
to
He's gonna hit.
your thing. It's just, do you want him versus other guys that are going to have better lineups around him? That's all.
Oh no, but when we're talking about better lineups around him, we were talking about first round picks. How the hell is this guy not getting drafted? I just don't understand. I just don't know what I'm missing here.
I mean, he's going to hit like a little over 200, get you 20-something homers. He has 60 runs. Like, he's projected, right? He's projecting this next year 65 RBIs, 57 runs. I mean, that's not a big stat line of projecting. Like, you're going to have dudes that are going to be on the wire that are going to be better stats than those. You know what I mean? Like,
the point I'm trying to make is, why has he projected that? I'm trying to figure out, how did he have 21 home runs and 70 at bats? That's what, or 70 games. I mean, he had 21 home runs in 70 games. My math says 45 to 50 home runs. Right?
Montgomery's expected role has started to begin the season.
Like, all I hear, I don't
Poor
know.
Results will not influence. Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. And let's go ahead and let's clip this right here, StreamYard. Clip it right now, and let's talk about Colston Montgomery when he's sitting at a 250 batting average with 80 RBIs, 74 runs, and 40 jacks, right? 3 steals. Like, I mean, that's what you're saying. If you're going to talk about, you're projecting out a stat line, because what you see is 20 home runs and 70 at bats. You give the guy however many, 300 at bats. How many is he going to get?
I just don't. I know, like, I guess I'm a little biased because I watched him. I literally watched 3 White Sox games all year, and he hit a home run in all 3. And then he's getting compared to Corey Seager. Yeah, it's just weird. He's getting compared to Corey Seager. If you project his numbers out, he's going to have 120 RBIs, 45 home runs, and so let's find a shortstop that's going to hit 40 home runs and 100 RBIs.
I mean, bro, this is crazy. I'm looking at their roster right now, man. And you're just like, Jesus. I mean,
the White Sox are going to suck, but how is he not getting drafted in the top 7 or 8 rounds? And now he's not even getting drafted when he's going to hit 100 RBIs, 40 home runs. He was a first-round pick. He's a lefty hitter. Everyone compares him to Corey Seager. And I think this guy, we're going to talk about him next year, is like a top 40 pick, top 50 pick. I just don't understand like what I'm missing here.
I mean, I guess the only thing that you're missing is that it hasn't been done yet, right? I mean, that has to be the only thing. Nobody wants to project it out just off of those numbers. But
if you're going to tell me, if I was to tell you, let's not put a name or a team on it.
Right, sure, I get it.
But I got a guy that is a first-round pick, moved up in 3 years, crushed every minor league level, and he played 70 games last year and hit 21 home runs.
If you put the right name on it, everyone goes bonkers, right? That's what you're saying.
If not Corey Seager, because he's getting too old, but if a Francisco Lindor played 70 games and had 20,
if his last name was Puckett and he was like Kirby Puckett's son and he was coming up and he had a name of a perennial player and he was doing these kind of things, 100%. But his name is Colston Montgomery. I'll tell you this, bro. Like, you know me, I always try to follow all of the prospects in baseball, right? He's been a prospect who's been up and coming for like 2 or 3 years.
He was a first-round pick. I remember hearing about him.
Everybody's been talking about him. So he's not on people's lips. It's about him coming out and producing at that level that you're talking about. And is he going to do it? And nobody's just putting the value on him yet. That's all. It's just like they want to see him as a starter this year. And what is that going to look like with that much opportunity? And you're saying that you see all the ceiling, and I guess all the prognosticators are saying they see more floor. I don't know.
Yeah, he has Bobby Witt power numbers, and he played in 70 games. The power numbers are almost similar. They almost have the same amount of home runs.
And he's a shortstop.
You know what
I mean? He's a shortstop.
Like, guys, if he's go pick him up, at least as a Montgomery finished his rookie year with the White Sox, having appeared in 71 games. Not even started 71. He appeared in 71, hitting .239 with 21 home runs. He finished 5th in Rookie of the Year voting.
Colston Montgomery.
Yeah. I just remember and he gets stolen bases too.
He gets a few, right?
He'll steal you like 15 or 20. Yeah, I don't get it. Going undrafted. Now, he did have a year in AAA where he didn't have an amazing year, but I don't know.
All right, so you want to like quantify this. You're talking about a 14-man league, and we saw how thin it gets. So, I mean, there's no way in a 14-man league he doesn't get drafted. He's definitely going to be on someone's team.
No, yeah, Sean. But I'm going to ask something, right? Yeah, we're talking about Montgomery. I like this guy, and like I'm a little biased. I've watched 3 or 4 White Sox games all year. He had great games of those, and like he just looks the part. He's a first-round pick, 22nd pick in the MLB draft. Huge honor. Gets moved up pretty quick, goes through the ranks, and strikes out a lot. That doesn't matter that much, especially in category leagues, because that's a deep fly ball. Same exact thing. Strikeout.
And a picture, OPS is a thing and blah, blah, blah. You know all that. We got it edged and hedged a couple ways. But yes, you're right. It does not matter as much. You're not getting negative points.
Bobby Witt had 23 home runs last year. And he played 150 games. Montgomery had 21 home runs. He appeared in 70. He didn't even start 70.
He's saying he strikes out 30. He's just trying to tell you he's got a stat on the board.
No, yeah, he strikes out a lot. I get that. And as a rookie, I get that. But he's a big lefty bat, shortstop. No, yeah, but even in non-points leagues, the guy, I just don't. I guess what I'm asking is, how are projections projecting him to get 25 home runs? He had 21 in 70. Do the math. Now, yeah, there is a thing when pitchers figure out how to attack a hitter, they're, but I don't know. This guy was 5th in Rookie of the Year voting. Like, I just don't understand why no one's talking about this guy. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a prospect who's been coming out. Obviously, he's on a team where he's got real opportunity to make some noise. And I think that for our purposes of drafting, if you were to pass on a shortstop early and went through all the top ones and didn't take your Trey Turners and you kind of waited down there past your Adames and your Pena, then you're looking at a Colston Montgomery and you're going to feel really good about it.
Yeah, if I was to tell you, hey, your shortstop's going to hit 21 home runs this year, you'd be like, oh, shit, okay, we'll take that. I'll take him over Volpe, right?
Exactly. And that's where you don't want to have to be drafting Volpe because he's all right. He's just at the bottom tier.
Yeah.
And I would rather take Adames than Volpe because, like you said, I'm a lead power. You know what I mean?
But rookie regression, Sean, is a lot different with the first round pick. This guy, I've been hearing about this guy since he's been 16 years old. This is not like if he was with the Yankees, he would already have a key to the city. This is not like a rookie that came out of nowhere, and you know what I mean? This guy has been a star everywhere, and now he's finally going to get his chance with the White Sox, which is unfortunate. But
he'll be a Yankee soon. Don't worry.
I think this is a guy that, I guess I just think, but these projections, these guys are all geniuses, a lot of them, right? Like, it's not just one guy pulling the strings here. So I'm just curious.
No, I love it, TJ. You found a wrinkle in the matrix. You know what I mean? You found an inconsistency. You found an anomaly. I completely agree with you. He should easily surpass, what do you want to, we could even put like a friendly little wager on it. Like, Sean, don't you think that he would have, if you're going to project these numbers out, he should have 21 home runs by the All-Star break, right?
Yeah. And
he should have those covered by the All-Star break. So you're literally saying, let's put an over-under on it at 22. We'll even go one more. Does he have 22 home runs by the All-Star break? I would say it's close.
Yeah, but
probably close.
Nobody says you're close. Everyone says you're way off. He's projected to get 25 home runs.
But we're saying with what we see on the paper.
Let's do 21 divided by 70 really quick, 0.3. So he gets a home run, all right, times 162. So if he would continue on that pace, That's 48.6 home runs. Now
And he
that's
also would strike out another at the third rate, right?
yeah,
Blah,
he's
blah,
gonna
blah.
strike out 200 times this year. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
So he's gonna strike out 200 times. He's projected at 48.6 home runs. Let's just say let's scroll down to 36, right? I think he hits, no injury, of course. 30 plus home runs. I think he strikes out 200 times, which I don't give a fuck about. And I think he bats 240. You put those numbers up, give me him in the 15th round instead of Bobby Witt in the first round.
Yeah. And then, depending on who you're taking, maybe you take an arm instead of him or whatnot.
Yeah. But I just think it's so weird how he's going.
What a fascinating topic in Mr. Colston Montgomery. There's a lot of guys that are like that, TJ. Like, there's a lot of guys that you're going to look at that are up and coming, that are these prospects like Torkelson. Like, he's been one of these prospects that's been a lot like Colston Montgomery, like his whole career, and he's just been coming up, strikes out a lot, and he's starting to get some ground.
And I get that in the points leagues. I totally understand because, like Sean and I were talking about that, minus 200, that's a lot. So, like, when you're in these weeks where, let's say Colston goes cold, if he has 8 strikeouts that week, you know what I mean? Which is about maybe 10. He's going to strike out 10 times in weeks. That's minus 10. So he literally has to hit. I mean, it's hard to project. There's other ways to get points, but
that's why the wire is so great. What if you catch him in a hot streak? You drop your shortstop because,
But I guess the point I'm saying is I think he's going to be by the middle of the year. He's not going to be a guy that you add and drop. He's just going to be a guy you put in your lineup because he's a 24-year-old Corey Seager. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you don't think that some guys like Ellie De La Cruz have been striking out a lot his whole career. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's probably even the same. They're probably close to the same age, but some guys, they don't want to strike out more. I mean, they fix it. You don't fix it after you've been in the league 5-10 years. It's just if you strike out, you strike out. But some of these guys are going to choke up. They're going to abbreviate their swing a little. They're going to do whatever it takes. And that's why I might shrink the power numbers a little bit. But yeah, I just thought it was weird. I don't know. Like, I was so high on Kurtz last year, and everyone's like, oh, he's a flash in the pan. And Kurtz won me the league. And I just think that, I don't know, when you line up the draft pedigree and you line up all this stuff, lefty hitting shortstop, you line up all this stuff, star in the making.
Yeah, Colston Montgomery is going to be a guy in the future, man. Definitely going to hear about him.
Tell you what,
anything else you want to say about baseball?
It's slow on sports when we're talking Colston Montgomery for 20 minutes.
It's ridiculous, right? Do you want to get into this whole Ty Simpson thing in the NFL?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? We didn't talk about that, did we?
Nope.
Yeah, people are pissed off. And honestly, it's like, I'm a red-blooded Republican, right? I am a sensitive guy, though, and I understand, I don't want beautiful people in this country that have come in here and done great things to automatically get deported. And I want the criminals and rapists out for sure. But the one thing I hate is biased media. That's why I watch Fox News, but I also watch CNN. I don't want you to tell me how to think. I just want you to give me the information. I don't mind opinions, but bias networks piss me off, right? And now ESPN is getting accused because, like, everyone's like, oh, Simpson looks pretty good, but now they're saying Simpson's better than Mendoza. And Dan Orlovsky kind of started this. I don't know if he said it verbatim, but then Adam Schefter, and now Simpson's moving up the draft. And they're saying that they truly don't believe this, but I don't know if Schefter does, but Dan Orlovsky and Ty Simpson have the same agent, right? And we know this is a thing because Adam Schefter's been accused of it many times, that they don't always push the guys they think are best. They get a text from their agent saying, hey, this is my guy. Can you throw him a bone? So then Dan Orlovsky comes on ESPN and says, hey, Ty Simpson is one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Let me show you why.
Yep. And then the agent says, hey, thanks for that. We really appreciate it. He just went from projected 26th to projected 12th because you're
Number
well
2 quarterback
respected
on
in
the
the
board.
industry. You know what I'm trying to say? So the reason why I brought up the politics and stuff is like, I just hate how Fox News can never criticize Trump. And I hate how CNN can never, and it's changing a little bit. I'm not saying never, but like, for the most part, CNN and NBC, they trash Trump. And Fox, they love him no matter what. You know what I mean? I wish we could have more balance. And ESPN, a lot of people have abandoned the network, not because of this, but because you never know what you're going to get with them. You always feel like it's just
They're a part of the Disney
there's an ulterior
communication
motive that we
umbrella.
don't know about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
people are pissed. People are like, why are you saying this about Simpson? If you think he's that good, that's fine. But it's weird that Dan Orlovsky and Simpson and some of those guys all have the same agent. And they're the ones pushing the narrative. And
Well,
it's just really annoying.
I'll tell you what stinks about it and why I'm not buying it. I don't want any part of it. I don't want a single stock. Like, Mendoza is, and I've heard it put so many ways, he's like as good as any prospect could be. He's the perfect prototype size. He could be faster. His feet are a little slow, okay? But he's quick enough to get out of the pocket and he can get you some tough scramble yards. His arm is strong. He's bigger, faster, stronger, better in every metric, every category. If this kid's name was not Mendoza, and if it was an Archie Manning or whatever, teams would be mortgaging 5 first-round picks to go and get this guy.
Yeah.
But he's not even being as respected as he should be because his last name is Mendoza and he's not some perennial Hall of Famers kid. He's better than all these other people that we've been coming out and seeing. He's like an elite prospect. I've looked at his numbers and it blows me away. There's no way that Ty Simpson has any room to be in this conversation. Like, I get he's going to be the second best quarterback, and I agree with you. I think it's all sensationalized. It's bullshit that he's even getting this mention because of it all. Like, Mendoza needs to be touted as the number 1 prospect in this draft, and it's not even close. And the fact that they're trying to put him up there, like, oh, he's better than Mendoza. No, he's not. And I'm hearing talks that he's better than Mendoza. And people the Raiders should really be looking at that. No, they shouldn't. They need to take
also,
Mendoza
we could always
and
talk about, we could always talk, and it's all metrics, right? Because we could always say, Brock Purdy was Mr. whatever, last pick in the Mr. Insignificant, whatever they call it. And they have first round picks that, there is one scout, I bet you, that said, I think Brock Purdy could be better than anybody in this draft. Just like some people said, I think Brady could be, I'm sure. But when you talk about just metrics, Mendoza is bigger, faster, stronger.
It's everything, man. It's not even close. It's a check.
Won a Heisman. Yep. Went
national
undefeated,
championship.
Has a 4.8 GPA, which is impossible to get, but that's what he has.
And they say that the kid is such a bookworm, like his processing and his readiness. Like, you're talking about Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Like, they're saying there isn't anybody that's come out recently, even Peyton Manning, that processes information like this kid. Yeah. He's like an instant processing machine.
Ty Simpson had like a 2.6 GPA. Like, literally, there's nothing Simpson does better than Mendoza. Now,
it's a travesty.
I'm not saying Mendoza can Simpson. Yeah, if you're being talked about in the first round, everyone's assuming that there's a chance you're going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback and maybe one of the great. We're not saying that, but projections and metrics right now, it's not very close. And ESPN and Dan Orlovsky and the guys got accused of trying to manipulate draft status.
Of course, yeah.
And draft stock. Not because they believe in it, but because they're doing a favor for their agent. Yep. And, Dan Orlovsky, it's well noted, and he's a great guy,
Love him. Sharp dude.
You know him personally somewhat. And it's Orlovsky's contract was pretty well documented. He got a really nice contract recently, or some sort of extension. And I think he's throwing a bone to his agent, trying to help out Simpson instead of saying what he truly feels. I watched Simpson play a lot this year, and I always thought it was weird when Alabama couldn't move the ball with all those weapons.
I know that, like, look, if you want to package anybody, you could sit there and put together film, all the things that somebody did well, take their good highlights, show a few deficiencies, whatever. Like what Orlovsky did You could do that for all these quarterbacks, and I'm sure there's somebody out there, like you said, all their individual agents are representing them with the proper package, showing all their good, right? Not their bad. So I
Yeah.
get that, man. You got to have that, but there's just no way that like don't take the shot away from clearly the one good quarterback that's in this draft. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't.
Yeah. And like I
It's a
remember
joke.
saying Alabama on the show when Alabama lost to Florida State. I go, I think Alabama is one of the best teams in the country because I saw how they were moving the ball. But then Simpson, I saw some not great. And also, like
There's only
Simpson's
one
played
good Alabama quarterback that even came out, right? His name's Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts. Like, let's just
And
stop
it's a
talking
little
about it.
different now because but you could also this coach made Penix look pretty good, and Penix now is
Sure.
kind of not looking great in the NFL.
Right.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, so Alabama quarterback's not a great reputation. Just Simpson is he has 15 starts. Mendoza has 33. I loved Mendoza when he played for Cal. I saw him play for Cal 2 games where I watched every play of every game. And Mendoza is one of those special guys. And it's not a fluke he won the Heisman. I don't know if he's going to be amazing in the NFL, but I do think he is worthy of this first pick in the draft. And I do know he can make every throw. And that guy is just going to be one of those guys where he's going to be, pound the pavement. And I think he's going to turn into one of the, darlings of the NFL a few years.
I absolutely agree.
now.
The more and more I see and read about him, hear about the way he's rolling out, I love everything he's made of, man.
Gene's trying to push some Jets talk down our throats, and Jets get 4 picks without that. They grab Manning and Smith next year.
Wide receiver Denzel Boston out of Washington's gym.
I know that's the problem, right? It's just like now you're gonna see, right, where there's gonna be. I think there's gonna be a time now where no team is gonna be wanting to go quarterback early, right? Like think about the teams that are gonna be really bad next year. It's gonna be a tank competition between the Jets and the Dolphins. And the funny part is they play each other twice, right? The Dolphins obviously right now have a huge upper hand in this tank thing. And the Jets getting Geno Smith really helped them in tanking for sure.
Isn't that crazy? They go out and they sign Malik Willis. You get rid of Waddle, and then the writing's on the wall for Willis. You're like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going after Manning. Just come here, go put some stats up, move on next year. Like, there's no other answer that you're looking at Malik Willis and telling him, all right, look, we really are trying to win the division. No, you're not.
I know it's going to be interesting to see. Malik Willis had a pretty good video come out yesterday on just him throwing just practice routes or whatever to I don't know who it was, but man, he's got a live arm.
I don't know who it was.
It's a live arm. God. I think that the Dolphins are tanking, but I don't think they're tanking for Arch Manning. I think they're tanking for Ohio State's wide receiver. And so let's just think about this really quick before we end the show. What teams next year are tanking for a quarterback? Now, the Dolphins might be if Malik Willis is a disaster, which that could be the case. I think Malik Willis shows enough hope. Tinsley's right here. She's taking a day off of school because she was at the Magic game.
All right. What's up, Tins? All right, so we got Miami and Buffalo, or Miami and the Jets. All right, tanking for a quarterback. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh, say no. Lamar Jackson there, Joe Burrow. Cleveland's got Shador. No, right?
No, Cleveland is in that conversation. Shador might have a good year.
Okay, so Cleveland's in the conversation. Jacksonville's got Trevor. Is Houston in the conversation with Stroud?
No way. They're going to win 15. They're going to win.
They're not tanking at all. Absolutely. And then you got Indy with Jones. They're not. Tennessee with Ward. They're not. Denver with Knicks. You got Herbert in the Chargers. Mahomes, the Raiders, obviously they got Mendoza. You got Hurts. He's not tanking. Cowboys aren't tanking with Dak. You got Washington with Daniels. You got the Giants.
Yeah.
Right? So you're good. You got Dart. Are you in the conversation?
No.
No, right? You're not in the conversation.
Giants are going to win some games this year.
Chicago, they're not tanking, right? Obviously, they got their boy. You got Packers. Are the Packers? No, they're not. They got Love. They got Minnesota. Is Minnesota tanking with McCarthy?
Yep. Yeah, they're not in. So it's Arizona and the Jets, right?
Minnesota, they're not saying Carolina's not, Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, they got, I mean, no, they got shugged.
New
It's
Orleans
Arizona.
could be in the conversation, but I think they're going to be good enough where they won't be. I think it's the Jets and Arizona.
Okay, Jets in Arizona. In Miami. And then who's going to be so bad that they're going to be in the conversation that we're going to have to sit there project? Yeah, like you say, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So Cleveland,
Miami, the
Cleveland
Jets,
Browns,
Arizona.
New York. Yep. New York
Those
Jets.
are your 4 teams that are going to be like top 4 picks. What
So
we're
it's going to
looking
be
at early.
Jeremiah Smith and Arch Manning, and maybe 1 or 2 other quarterbacks that we don't really know about yet. Everyone says this is an elite quarterback class. And I do think now there are teams that just look at quarterbacks way different now. And I'm still waiting for the team to just take a quarterback, use him for his rookie contract, and then no matter how good they do, just move on and reset the roster.
I just wonder what Justin Jefferson's thinking, bro. Oh, you know what? All right,
I
before we
think
go.
Kyler Murray is great for Justin Jefferson, though.
Bro, I took a screenshot of something. I just wanted to talk about this, okay? Because it's a huge deal, man. You just can't mess up with things like this. All right, so the Raiders, okay? They've been known for having some monumental picks to mess up.
Yeah.
Mendoza's got to be an automatic, but history might tell you otherwise. It's kind of crazy. In 2002, all right, we're just going over history. I got a little sheet. Raiders ended up taking first round pick or whatever. It was Napoleon Harris. The next pick was Ed Reed. Okay.
Yeah.
2004, they ended up taking Robert Gallery. The next pick was Fitzgerald, Larry Fitzgerald. Okay. 2005, they took Fabian Washington. The next pick was Aaron Rodgers. All right. 2007, Raiders took Jamarcus Russell. The next pick was Calvin Johnson. Right, so we're just on a roll. Other picks, they ended up trading a pick away that could have been Rob Gronkowski. They traded another pick away that could have been Derrick Henry.
Well,
Like these names all could have been Raiders, and it shows you how important it is to go out and get the right guy. Should we be listening to this and not all the talk that we've been listening to Fernando Mendoza? Just something that I thought that was definitely worth to mention. That's a whole team right there that they could have had in that era of the 2000s. What would they have been, Just crazy.
yeah, I will say this too. One thing, even though I'm high on Mendoza, and I think he didn't light it up statistically because he did not have that speed at wideout to and the way they ran their offense, it just wasn't a deep ball, you know what I mean, type of offense. But out of all the first round quarterbacks, there's only a few that had fewer than 2 300-yard passing games, right? In their final season. Okay. These are the quarterbacks: Christian Ponder,
Wow,
JJ McCarthy, Jake Locker, Tim Tebow, and Fernando Mendoza. Those are the 5 quarterbacks that had 1 or less 300-yard games. Now, the caveat is that are getting drafted in the first round, right? Because I bet you Tom Brady didn't have 300-yard games. So, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's just the first round. That's why I think that's the big caveat there. And then there's some other stats that he's kind of falling into this category. It's a little weird, but I truly think that, first of all, the Indiana Hoosiers were in the Big Ten. It's cold. They played from the lead a lot, but there was one game where he did not look good, and I think it was against Wisconsin or Nebraska. He did not have a good game. But the final drive, he went 9 plays for 78 yards, and every one was a throw. And he just marched them right down the field and threw a 25-yard seam route for a touchdown where they made a great jump, kind of great catch in the back of the end zone. And you're just okay, this guy was getting cold, getting rocked all game, but still when it mattered most, came through. There's one other thing. We're actually doing a ticket giveaway for
Yes.
Pistons Magic on April 6th. We're going to be posted on X tonight, but we're doing a giveaway. These seats are great. There'll be some.
I've sat in them. They're nice. You get a good angle.
Yeah. There'll be, we're going to post it on Twitter tonight, on X tonight.
Not too high up. You're in the lower bowl area.
Lower bowl. Free tickets, Pistons Magic. That's a 1 seed versus 6 seed, I think. So
get an up close look at Durant and what them boys got.
Also, another thing I want to talk about? Omar Khan, friend of the show, great man. And a lot of Steeler fans are kind of high on Will Howard, which I don't know, but like a lot of Steeler fans, when I'm like, hey, you guys think Aaron Rodgers is coming back? And they're like, no, I think, Will Howard's our guy. Are you kind of surprised about that?
Absolutely. I don't know why you wouldn't have Aaron Rodgers and run it back, and the experience, the arm, it's still there. He's got juice. If you're going to sit there and tank and talk and want to enter into this conversation about the Arch Manning, then sure, maybe you're all about this Will Howard. But I know Mike McCarthy's. There's no way he's coming out. He just signed. You're not going to let.
No, Steelers have too good of a roster to. I did think it was weird, though, and I don't know if Pittman's lying about this or not, but they asked him, hey, has Aaron Rodgers reached out to you? He goes, no, we haven't spoke yet. But he did say, also, we haven't spoke, but I do expect him to be back as
He's
quarterback.
Back, bro.
There's
no need for him to even talk.
Why the mystery? And, like, I
don't think it's even a mystery. I don't think it is a mystery. I think that he's automatically coming back. You just put the piss in the snow when you sign McCarthy. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to rekindle the romance. You just highlight your girlfriend from 2012, signed in on Facebook, said, what's she up to? Oh, guess she's single. Let me hit her up. Mike McCarthy came right on through, pulled up. He's re-signing. There's no way he doesn't.
Yeah, so Rob says he's got talent, but he's not too high on him. Gene says he's hearing the same thing from Steeler fans. Yeah, they're like kind of, and like, the Steeler Nation has been tired of first round exits. And is this a year where, obviously if Rodgers comes back, you take one more shot. What was the problem last year is that all the attention was on DK Metcalf, right? So now you got Pittman there. A little bit of a weird wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 duo, both kind of long, big bodies.
Possession guys, right? They're both kind of possession guys.
Yeah.
But DK should be Calvin Johnson. I don't know why he's not. Yeah,
I know. It is kind of weird. I just don't think I don't think DK has the ball hawking skills that Calvin Johnson, but DK Metcalf is an amazing athlete and a great receiver. I think it could work. I could see a lot of like Metcalf and Pittman on back shoulder fades. And Pittman, I put Pittman in that, like, kind of like the Pickens.
You think Pittman gets 1,000 yards?
I could see it, and I could see
1,000 yards, right? It's like right there on that line.
When I see Pittman, I get Garrett Wilson Pickens vibes, kind of just like the way the quick twitch, like how they're like kind of lengthy but still so agile. But yeah, so if you're the Steelers, do you run it back one more year with Rodgers, and now you got Pittman, or do you kind of do a Will Howard and it's a make it or break it? And if Will Howard sucks, at least you're going 5-12 and you're getting a draft pick. With Rodgers, he's going to go 9-8, 8-9, 10-7, 7-10.
Bro, they need to put out the 2 tight end set, put your running backs right behind you because you got a running game now. And you put out Pittman and you put out DK and you put like Warren as like your X spot and you motion him around on the line as a receiver in the backfield. Like just, bro, the Steelers have the offense set now. If they could run 2 times, they need to be running Washington. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, man. That kid is so gifted with these 2 receivers. It's like a perfect 3 wide receiver set. And then you got Freiermuth out there or whoever else you want because you got so many freaking tight ends. Like, dude, you can run 3 tight ends.
I know.
Like, I love this setup for Rodgers. I don't know why you wouldn't. I feel like he's going to be very comfortable. I feel he's going to be upright. He's going to be protected. And I'm not saying it's like the most deep threat offense out there, right? But you can see they should be able to control the first down marker, and probably within that like 25-yard bubble, I think the Steelers offense runs is like in that 25-yard like slash and gash with Pittman, Metcalf, your backs and your tight ends. It's just all right there. You know what I mean? If you get a deep shot from Rodgers here and there as things break down.
And also, the two-headed monster, right? Rico Dowdle and
That's what I'm saying. With Warren, like you put
with
Warren
Warren.
and like you have him scatting between I think as a receiver or in the backfield, and you got Dowdle just pounding the rock. Like
I think it was so funny. Like hanging out with Steeler fans and serving them one time. This one family, like they love like what you said, Darnell Washington. I think that's his name, right? Darnell Washington.
Yes, bro, he's a freak.
Now, they love him, but and I remember being on the sidelines being like, who the hell is this guy?
6'7"
right?
giant, dude.
But what statistically, I don't think has he had 300 yards receiving in a season or no?
Not yet. I don't think he's gotten the opportunity, and it has to be blocking. And I think that's why the Steelers got these other tight ends, because they should be using him as your Kyle Pitts decoy, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's like a dog, like there's other young dudes that can, that are blocking and receiving.
24. He's only 24 also. So
He's
it's kind of funny.
young. He's 6'7", 230? Like,
yeah, he had 31 receptions for 364 yards and a touchdown.
Right on the cusp.
I mean, you could argue that, he might be able to double that next year if you actually get him involved, right?
Bro. He's just, I think he's like the prototypical. You got Freiermuth known to be a nose breaker, and he can sit there and leak out. Okay, let him play your Hunter Henry role, whatever. But like you should be having Washington out there on post seams, like just everything to take that nickel out of play, right? Like just make that nickel, make a choice, make your safeties cover him, bring him out, and just open all that up, man. He's your guy. That's the answer. Like that's what I see.
I remember, I think Rob told me this and a couple other Steelers fans. They don't like how you get that feeling sometimes with Rodgers is his number one priority is not to get hit. So that's
maybe you don't want to develop that long, right? It takes too long.
Yeah, you just don't. Yep. So you don't really want a guy at the helm that's not gonna like. You know what I mean? That his number one priority is. Yeah, it's good to get the ball out quick, but like Rodgers, it's.
But you see DK's over here doing a line on the post. Here goes Pittman up the middle, and they got the nickel. But there goes Washington. He seams, and it's over the top. You know what I mean? Like, I see it. I think that we're going to see it more. McCarthy loves his tight ends, and I just don't see him not getting them involved, like for sure.
Yeah, does the AFC come back to like the norm? I don't know. The AFC is so interesting. I think the Texans and the Bills are probably to me the two favorites right now, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. I think the fact that the Chiefs just got Kenneth Walker, like, homie, all they needed was a running back. Mahomes is good enough to make up for a lot of deficiencies.
They got speed everywhere.
All they needed was a running back, TJ. Mahomes showed you if they had any serviceable running back, they could make it to the Super Bowl. Well, now they got a Super Bowl MVP running back. Figure out your receivers. Go get them.
Texans have Montgomery, though. Texans have Montgomery.
Right. And is how many games does Montgomery play next year? Does he stay healthy? I mean, I got Montgomery. If I'm going to tell you right now, gun to head, I got Montgomery playing 13 games, which is great. 14 games. That's still very serviceable. But, God, let's hope that he doesn't miss your playoff run. You know what I mean? Like, he runs so hard. He fights so hard for those yards. He puts his heads down and pushes. I just don't see him staying healthy. That's all. And you can't project that, but you got a gut about it. That's all.
Yeah. Rob,
what did you have to say about March Madden? Go ahead.
Yeah. Rob's offense should be significantly better, but the defense needs to get cleaned up. Yeah, I think the Steelers are actually have a pretty good roster. We'll see what happens. A lot of draft picks coming up too. Oh no, yeah. The last thing with March Madness, right? We are self-proclaimed not March Madness experts. The one thing that blows me away, I still can't believe it, is teams don't have set out of bounds plays when it matters the most. You know what I'm trying to say? Like in the college basketball, take a timeout and get the ball advanced to half court, right?
You have to throw it in.
Which I like that. I don't know why we should advance it to half court on a timeout.
I hate that rule too.
Like,
Stupid rule. You should always have to get the ball in and inbound it. That's the fucking.
It's like in the NFL. It's like in the NFL. Imagine calling a timeout and instead of the 20, you get it to 50. That'd be stupid, right?
Yeah, it's stupid.
But I've seen so many college basketball teams where the team makes the game winner or what we think is the game winner, and there's 3 seconds left. They call a timeout and they pass the ball in, and they just give it right to the point guard, right there. Now he takes 2 dribbles. He's at half court. It's already 2 seconds. He's heaving up a half court shot. How are these teams every practice for the last 10 minutes saying, hey, we have 6 set out of bounds plays. This will matter in tournaments. So if it's out of a timeout or not, we should know pretty close. Let's just say even going into the game, hey, we're running this play, right? So guys, let's practice it one last time. I know college basketball is hectic, but dude, these guys are running so many plays. And literally, me and my dad are watching a game and the guy makes the free throw. So now they're up 1 and there's like 2.6 seconds left. The guy grabs it, doesn't wait more than a half a second. Boom, passes it right to his point guard. 10 feet away. He literally took 2 dribbles and he heaved up a 3/4 court shot. And I was like, throw it down.
It's got to be a better result, 100%.
Yeah, like, we all remember the Bryce Drew play where they threw it to their center and he jumped up and caught it and then threw it to Bryce Drew and Bryce Drew bangs a 3. That was a set play. You know what I mean?
The Christian Laettner play. Let's bring it back to the 90s. The full court throw and he's there. That was a play. They had it set. Put Laettner on the other end and throw it to the big tall guy and let him turn around and shoot it.
Exactly. And that was more of like a basic play where he's so gifted athletically. And that took, 1 set, I don't know how long it actually took. I think it was like under 2 seconds though. Boom, caught it. But a lot of these teams have like 2 to 3 seconds, which yes, it goes quick if you're just dribbling it up the court. But I don't know. I'm just blown away. Like you worked all season and then you're literally relying on over a half court shot to win the game.
I just don't know how they don't even have a relay set. Like we know how fast it is. We played, in our amazing Disney Softball League championship year. We had that crazy relay. Ball was hit, fence, cut off, home plate, boom. Like it's the same thing in basketball. You catch the ball and you sling it. You're not dribbling, and then they can catch it and sling it. And you've advanced it 3/4 up the court in less than 2 seconds.
Exactly. And also the clock's not ticking when you pass it from the out of bounds. But literally you just give it to your point guard that's 5 feet away from you.
And then it makes no sense. That's a good
I was just shocked. I've seen it. I mean, there's been so many great games and so many great endings. That Kentucky game, I think it was Kentucky Santa Clara, whatever it was. That Kentucky game was freaking nuts.
It was unbelievable.
But
when Owa hit that, it was Kentucky Santa Clara, and Owa came down and just hit that shot, bro.
I'm just shocked these teams don't have more advanced plays in the building where they could just do it. But all right, guys, we appreciate you.
Yep. Prop Stars. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, get us out there, man. We'll be back in next Tuesday, obviously talking about all the current events, and we'll see how some things shake out. Keep the NFL news rolling all year long. Obviously, NFL is king. But we appreciate you stopping by. You got any words of wisdom, TJ?
I just got hit on my X account. Looks like Colson Montgomery wants to come on the show.
Oh, all right.
Maybe we are a biased network. I'm pushing the narrative on Colson Montgomery. You guys
talk to your agent. Maybe you guys got the same agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll holler at you. One love, everybody. Prop Stars out. Peace.
Peace.